welcome back to the channel. Something different. So just finished work, it's Friday, weekend off, and I'm now driving down to Easdale. I'm taking part in a freediving course. So Apneists UK are running a 2-day advanced spearfishing course. There's loads of cool stuff we're going to be learning. I am ashamed to say I'm completely self-taught when it comes to freediving and spearfishing. Everything I've learned from myself, or like the likes of Noobs here, or watching and listening to podcasts and videos. So it'll be good to finally have a proper kind of freediving qualification and just hone in all my hunting techniques and make sure that I'm doing everything safely, because that's the most important thing at the end of the day. The goal of the course is to be able to effectively hunt in deeper water in the region of kind of 20 to 30 meters. So that's the kind of depths where at the moment I'm diving down, and I've got a short amount of time there. But hopefully by using variable weights I should be able to spend a bit longer down there, just being comfortable at depth, and with that I should be able to hopefully start to target other species such as cod and even ling. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble on too long because I've got a long drive ahead of me, so I will call it a wrap there, and we'll see you in Seal Island. There we go, that looks fun. Good visibility there. I didn't actually do any filming within the quarry, it was only the instructors that filmed. I thought about taking my GoPro into the quarry, however I didn't want to take anything away from my learning, and the key point of me being on this course was to learn, not to film. So I didn't film within the quarry purely so that I could get the most out of the lesson and be paying attention to what the instructors had to say. That being said, the visibility in the quarry was fantastic, and I'm a bit upset that I didn't take it in because the visibility was fantastic. But there's still some pretty good footage that we filmed in here. So when the course first started, we went into the water. We were shown how to do rescues by removing each other's masks once at the surface, holding onto them from the buoy, and then doing a blow tap torque, which is where you take the mask off, you simulate blowing over their face to bring them back round, and if that doesn't work you say their name and you speak to them, and then from there, if that's not effective, you go into CPR. So we performed these rescues on the surface at 5 meters and then at 10 meters. With relative ease. All of us done that bit and it was no bothers whatsoever. Shortly afterwards I realised just how important this training was. No less than 30 minutes after we'd been given this training, one of the students actually had a loss of motor control, which is like just down from a blackout as he hit the surface, which is the first time I've experienced somebody having an episode like this in the water. And it hit home to me that these things can and do happen, and that you need to be prepared for the worst case scenario, because these things can take place, and if you're not in the right place ready to act, the consequences of someone having one of these loss of motor controls or blackout could potentially be fatal. Diving within the quarry, I ended up using a lot less weight than I normally do, and once I got my technique right homed in, I actually finished off using 4 kilos of weight. I managed to get my deepest ever dive, so I done a constant weight dive with bifins to 31.3 meters, which I was delighted with, which for two reasons. It was my deepest ever dive, but also because at 31.3 meters equals 102 feet, which puts me into the 100-foot club, so very happy with that. We also practiced some variable weight diving, which is what we were going to be using for the deeper spearfishing in the following day. The following day, once we got set up, we went out into the water and had a briefing from John about what we were going to be doing today. Today was based on variable weight diving. All of our dives were going to be between 15 and kind of 25 meters in depth. The variable weight setup we were using was 4 kilos of lead attached to a float line, which was then attached to a buoy. We'd be using about 20 meters of float line. We'd be diving in pairs, and we'd pass the lead across to each other when it was our turn to dive, and then we'd hold onto this lead, and because of the extra weight it would require less effort for us to get down, and once we get down to the bottom we would drop that weight and then carry on with our dive like normal, and from there we would have more time on the bottom, and it would be a kind of easier, more relaxed dive because you would have expended less energy to get down to the bottom. I really like this method. It's a good method for if you're diving kind of below the 15 meter mark. It also means that by carrying this extra lead down with you, I tend to dive with less lead, so I was diving without my weight vest and I was only diving with 5 kilos on my belt. Today I was going to use my roller gun, so I've changed the 18mm bands off it and I'm now using 14mm bands, which I've got to say I much prefer. They react better than the 18mm bands that are overpowered. Variable weight setup, when you're doing like multiple deep dives to around the 20 metre mark, it makes it so much easier. If anybody's ever done 5-6 drops to 20 metres on bifins while spearfishing in Scotland, it's certainly not for the faint-hearted, and it takes it out of you, whereas the variable weight setup, it's almost as if you're doing a dive to half that, which is great, but you need to be conscious of the fact that you are quite deep. So I managed to spear this pollock here with quite a long shot, but I nailed it. However, when I started to go up, I realised that the spear hadn't went the whole way through, despite stoning it and it being a fairly nice shot. So what I done was I grabbed the fish and I carefully pushed the spear out the other side to secure the fish on and engage the floppers.
Well, no! The spear didn't go through properly. It literally hit up there. And I was like, I stoned it, so I had to go around it and shove the thing through. Oh Christ, that was lucky. Might not be the biggest pollock I've shot, but it's a very welcome one.
That's all for this video. I want to say thank you if you've stuck around this far, and that there's going to be some really exciting new stuff coming up. I've got plenty of trips planned in the next few months, along with some stupidly big pollock, which I've shot. I shot a couple of pollock last week in the kind of 9 to 10 pound region, so I've got some really good footage of that coming up, so I'll put that out shortly. I also want to give a little shout out to my younger brother, Galen, who has a business called Dramatic Scotland. He creates wall art, and he's created this shield design and etched in a logo for Skye Spearfishing for myself. He can create any kind of custom design you want. If it's something you're interested in, hit him up at Dramatic Scotland and he'll create a whatever you want. You can customise it. If you get in contact with him, bounce your ideas around, and he'll create something that'll be a special customised piece for yourself. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you got any comments, anything at all, even if it's a suggestion that I should do for the future for my videos, let me know please. I take it all on board. I reply to every comment as long as they're reasonable, and I will bear it in mind for the future.